Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks for joining us. Today we've got a brand new story to share with you. So let's begin. That hotel room bill, $89. Room service, a gut punch at $137. Finding out your fiance was tangled up with another guy through a call from your credit card company? That felt like the real cost. The kind you never shake off. At least you didn't marry her. That was the mantra. People tossed it at me like a life raft, but it just highlighted the icy water I was already drowning in. Vows weren't exchanged, not on paper, but in my head, in my heart, I was hers. So yeah, it felt like a divorce. A messy, brutal one. Let's rewind. Early 80s. 2 years breathing the rigid, orderly air of the Air Force in Japan. Felt like coming back from another planet, landing at Kelly AFB, San Antonio. Close enough to drive home for Thanksgiving. But the base gates felt like a border. I was young, restless, counting the days until I could ditch the uniform. Just wanted to finish my time as an Air Force cop without landing in the brig or worse. Liked the job well enough. Carrying a gun, the authority, felt like a real cop. But the Air Force wasn't the dream. The dream was civilian law enforcement. Tried that after high school. Hit a wall. City budget cut to bone. Police academy slots dried up. They wanted college, wanted experience. 18 and green? Go fish. Crime numbers spiked. Emergency services became a punchline. Politicians sliced budgets, then threw the scraps at pet projects. Another mayor, years later, still cleaning up the mess. Some things never change. Sheriff's department? Same story. Dead end. So the Air Force it was. Law enforcement. Got my pick. Better than the guys freezing their nuts off guarding planes or ammo dumps. The job had its moments, but being lowest rank meant you got the crap details. 12-hour shifts stretched into weeks. Japan felt like one long, gray blur. Didn't get off base much. Stuck on duty. But my supervisor there, an old chief, was all right. Believed in young guys getting educated. Made sure I could get to night classes, even when the base was locked down tight. He saw potential where I just saw boredom and regulation. Coming back to Texas, things shifted. Kelly was huge, but my unit was exiled to a remote spot called Security Hill. Middle of nowhere. Busted shuttle schedule. Even if you had a car, you were trapped. Closest college branch? Too far. The worst part? Shift rotation. Month on, month off. Day shifts, swings, nights. Blew college classes out of the water. Work wasn't bad, just soul-crushing routine. Japan, we mixed it up. Here, desk duty, checking badges, piling up paperwork. Monotony was a physical weight. The dorm was like a tomb, quiet. My roommate, Mitch, disappeared on weekends, lost in country music bars. My escape was loud, complicated rock, Pink Floyd, Genesis. Different worlds. Slowly, the quiet got to me. The endless cycle of work and isolation. The boredom chipped away at my resolve. One late Saturday I gave in. Went clubbing with Mitch. That's when I saw her. She was leaning against a wall, nursing a drink, looking utterly out of place. Not the usual bar crowd. Not polished or dressed up. Maybe my age. With a friend who seemed more plugged into the scene. She tried dancing earlier. Awkward as hell. The guy ditched her. Danced with her friend. She just stood there, radiating a quiet desperation. Not a classic beauty, but there was something raw about her. Long auburn hair, a color I liked, but it looked tired. Skin pale, blotchy, like she hadn't slept, hadn't eaten right. Too thin, shoulders hunched like she wanted to disappear. Barely any makeup, but in her eyes a flicker, something fragile, like a lost kid who'd wandered into a rough part of town. Her friend was on the dance floor, by chance. Had to say something. Looks like we're both stuck on wall duty. Thought I'd offer assistance. Lame, I know, but honest. She gave a small, tired smile. Didn't run. We talked. Hated the country music. Liked loud stuff, AC/DC, Ozzy. My world was different, but we met at Led Zeppelin. Common ground. Ended up at Denny's. 4 a.m. Talking. She ate English muffins like she hadn't seen food in days. She hadn't. Living broke, crashing with friends who had nothing either. Hostess job paid pennies, no tips. Her life sounded like a constant scramble just to stay afloat. Saw her again Friday. Plan, real dinner, movie. Reality. Back in my dorm room, tangled up until late. Major rule violation, opposite sex in the dorm after hours. Didn't care. The connection, the touch, felt too important. Like finding water in a desert. We barely made it back to Denny's before it closed. The sex wasn't pretty, wasn't perfect. But it was real, raw. We were both running on empty, and finding each other felt like hitting something solid. The nights got harder to end. Calls every night. Quick meetups when our schedules lined up. Then my shift flipped. Swings. 3 p.m. to midnight. Strangely, that helped. She'd get off her shift, head to Denny's. I get there after midnight, grab a bite, then back to her place. Most nights I'd crash there, sneak back to base before work, shower, change, pretend I was just another airman getting ready for shift. 3 weeks. That was the timeline. Decided I wanted this. Wanted her. Asked her to marry me. She pulled back. Didn't say no but dragged her feet. Excuses about needing to sort herself out. Things being rough. I saw it as cold feet. Should have seen it as a warning flare. She was a live wire. Jumpy. Easy to frazzle. Moods swung hard. One day clinging to me like a vine. The next distant. Flinching if I tried to touch her. Sometimes she'd just vibrate with nervous energy. Talk nonstop for days. Sleep optional. I brushed it off. Engagement jitters. Tried to give her space. The wedding date kept sliding further away. Last day of swings. 6:30 p.m. Phone rang. Credit union. Strange call. Small branch on base handled my pay, my tiny car loan, the visa I got for emergencies. Checked the box when I signed up. Rarely used. Gave them my duty number, dorm number. Back then, stolen cards were a nightmare. Saw it firsthand in Japan. Swore it wouldn't happen to me. Guess I wasn't special. The agent was asking if I was checked into the Marriott off I-10. My gut clenched. Checked my wallet. Card gone. Cash gone. Almost $200 just evaporated. Credit union didn't see other charges yet. But that didn't mean anything. Got the fraud number, the agent's name. Called the San Antonio cops. My lieutenant, a textbook example of why enlisted guys hate officers, tried to block me from leaving shift. Had to call the first sergeant, bypass the chain. 10 minutes later, I was on a break, heading to the hotel. Desk clerk confirmed it. A young couple. Checked in using my name, my card. Showed the desk manager my ID, explained the theft. Manager was helpful. Called SAPD to send officers. The cop who showed up was solid. Older woman. Looked like she'd seen it all. Took my info. Being in uniform, being LE, it smoothed things over. Got another key. Went up. Opened the door. Sound of water running. They were in the shower. But the room, department store bags piled on the floor. 6, 7 of them. A big bag from a liquor store on the table. On the dresser, white powder, a pipe. Narcotics. Okay, the bags. Maybe I could return the stuff. Cut my losses. Then they walked out of the bathroom. Naked, dripping, blinking in the light. Lila. And Mitch. My brain didn't process it. My body did. My hand went to my side. Empty. My .38 service revolver. Sitting on my desk back at work. Left it there for the first time in years. A mistake so dumb, so basic, it should have cost me my job. Right then, it saved their lives. Saved mine. Had it been there is no doubt in my mind. I would have drawn, I would have fired. Shot them both. The sheer primal shock of it. The violation. Watching them stand there, naked, caught red-handed. That moment showed me the ugly truth of human rage. Showed me what drives a man to murder. But the holster was empty. They weren't happy to see me. Even less happy about the cuffs. Seeing Lila, the look on her face, the tears silent at first, then shaking her body as the cop led her away. The pain cut deeper than the betrayal. The officer saw it. Saw I was about to crack. Told me, gently but firmly, to go back to base. File my reports there. Let SAPD handle their mess. Nothing else I could do. Went back. Finished the shift like a ghost. Morning. Filed the theft report. Waited outside the first sergeant's office. 7:59 a.m. Told him everything. Held nothing back. He heard me out. Didn't jump down my throat about the gun. Knew something fundamental had broken. Pulled me off duty for 3 days. Drug test. Sleep. Mitch got out of county jail fast. Never saw him again. Wasai came down hard. Tore our room apart. Found more drugs. Mitch faced military court. Theft. Fraud. Dealing. Plead guilty. Got sent to federal prison. Dishonorable discharge. Busted down to E1. Lost everything. Heard later he appealed. Got back in, somehow finished his time. Ended up teaching substance abuse classes. Life is full of cruel jokes. OSI ran me ragged for 6 months. Treated every airman like a suspect. 100 hours of questions. Statements. Finally cleared of any involvement in Mitch's drug crap. Record clean. Didn't feel clean. Lila. Faced civilian charges. Theft. Fraud, small stuff. But the drug possession, that was the hammer. Found out she had warrants. Felony check fraud from another county. The ADA was straight with me. Lila had a rap sheet stretching back years. Since she was 18. Stealing from family juvenile records. Picture clear. Deep in addiction long before I met her. The ADA said she tried to stay clean for me. But the pressure, the life she was in, it dragged her back under. I wouldn't bail her out. ADA advised against it. Said jail might be the only way she'd hit bottom. a forced detox. I wasn't sure, but the ADA seemed to genuinely want to save her, not just bury her. Lila stayed locked up. I tried to forget her, like cutting off a limb. It didn't work. The limb was still there, throbbing. The guilt ate at me. The rage I felt, the certainty I would have shot her. Couldn't trust myself. Couldn't see her. Knew I'd do something stupid, maybe drop the charges that were minor compared to the drug stuff. Forgive her, maybe, then watch her fall apart again. Safer to just try and make her disappear from my memory. Didn't go to sentencing. ADA called. She took the plea. 7 to 12 years state prison. Early parole possible if she finished drug treatment and counseling. ADA offered her contact info. I said no. Had no interest. Lost interest in a lot of things. My last 6 months in uniform were a blur of misery. My lieutenant, that petty bastard, made my life hell. Knew I was short, not re-enlisting. Tried to block my promotion training, wrote me up for stupid stuff. Wanted to crater my record. 3rd write-up in 6 months. Had enough. Nothing to lose. Went to the first sergeant again. Laid it all out. The lieutenant's crap, the feeling of being trapped, the hollow space inside. He listened. Saw I was 3 months from getting out. Knew he couldn't fix the lieutenant. But he saw the deeper problem. Can't make you go, he said. But see the chaplain. Anyone. As a favor to me. Come back next week. No chaplain on Security Hill. Closest was a Lutheran guy with an office by the flight line. Met him. Different. Big guy, calm eyes. Psychology and divinity degrees. Told him the story. The whole ugly mess. The hotel, the rage, the empty holster. He saw it. Saw my hand instinctively go to my side as I talked about that moment. Slowly, painfully, I admitted I'd wanted to kill them. That luck or something stopped me. Met with him daily for a week. A truth emerged. After that night, the guilt, the raw potential for violence I saw in myself. I couldn't even put on my holster right. Firing my weapon? Felt impossible. I'd been an expert marksman. Now I could barely hit the target. The guilt was a poison paralyzing me. I couldn't be LE anymore. Not like this. Not wearing a gun I was terrified to use. The path was clear. Retrain into something else or walk away from the Air Force. Can you type? The pastor asked. Yeah, I could type. He mentioned chaplain assistant. Joked I could handle his paperwork. Laughed. Said there were worse ways to serve. Getting out of LE was tough. High burnout, rules. Had to be openings. Usually meant a crap job somewhere remote. But the first sergeant pulled strings. Got me into the chaplain assistant program. Re-enlisted for 4 years. New job. Different kind of fight. Less about chasing criminals, more about patching up broken lives. Crisis calls, counseling, dealing with grief, telling families their worst nightmares were real. Heavy, necessary work. More than just office admins, spent hours talking people off ledges. Navigating domestic chaos. Far more than typing reports. Moved up the ranks. Had airmen working for me. Didn't need to be religious. Just needed to support the chaplains. Christian, Jewish, Muslim. Became the senior enlisted guy for the chaplain corps on base. Dealing with the 3 a.m. calls became the junior guy's problem, but I stayed involved. Saw the wreckage of people's lives daily. The work was hard, but it felt meaningful. As I neared 20 years, the desire to keep climbing faded. Senior Master Sergeant, yes. Chief Master Sergeant, the top rank? Could have made it. But it meant politics, sitting in an office far from the people who needed help. Didn't want it. 20 years was enough. Time to step off the carousel. Never married. Didn't really try. The women I met through work were usually dealing with their own catastrophes. Not exactly dating material. Met women through church groups organizing events. Often pushy, judgmental. My job involved the church, but my faith wasn't about attending services 3 times a week. Dated divorced women with kids. Complications I wasn't ready for. Single women my age often had issues, or weren't interested. Going back to bars? No thanks. Heard too many stories that started with, "We met at a bar." Wanted a connection. A real one. Didn't want another Lila. Wasn't exactly celibate, but wasn't getting laid regularly either. Less than a month left. Retirement was a blank space on the calendar. Single. No plan. Retirement pay was decent. Figured I'd stay in San Antonio. Look for a job running community outreach for a church. Didn't have high hopes. Churches around here were mostly fire and brimstone or traditional. Didn't fit. Other options, social services, United Way, looked like bureaucratic nightmares. Then the letter. From a church in Lovett, Texas. Sounded insane. Built next to a nudist colony. Half the church, clothing optional. Sounded like a cult. Almost tossed it. But the details, they ran the county food bank, built houses, fixed up homes for seniors, fed poor kids. Handled the county's crisis services. Job fairs, addiction meetings, anger management. Everything the broke-ass county couldn't touch. It wasn't a cult. It was something else. Intriguing as hell. Wanted to meet the pastor. Alexander. Or Al Town, as the letter called him. Guy who put this together had to be either crazy or brilliant. Maybe both. Lovett was weird enough. Al Town fit right in. Big guy, Santabelly. Eyes that saw straight through you. Looked my age, but stories said he'd been there since the 60s. His eyes, though, ancient. Saw things that left scars. Reminded me of that World War II vet who saw the death camps. Eyes that held eternity and trauma. He needed a director. Someone to run everything outside Sunday service. A 5-person job, minimum. Non-stop. Plus the phone ringing at 3 a.m. Staff of 2. Tiny, the biker who looked like he ate nails but ran the kids' programs like a gentle giant. And a secretary. Been there 10 years. The pay. An insult. Barely minimum wage. Bordered on appalling. Told him straight up. Money for me meant less money fixing a roof, feeding kids. He agreed. They needed someone driven by the work itself, not the paycheck. Someone who'd do it for free because it needed doing. The job description was fluid. Whatever broke, they fixed. My initial thought, church plus nudists equals perverts. Felt small, wrong. Anyone trying that crap around here, I doubted they'd survive long enough to see a courtroom. He dug into my past. Military. Relationships. Professional, personal. Questions got tougher. Nowhere to hide. The honesty felt forced but necessary. What did I hate about my chaplain job? The politics. The sheer volume of human misery. My flaws? Laid them bare. The job I left, the mistake I almost made. He smiled. Gentle. Hit me with the question I dotered for 15 years. Worst pain someone ever caused you? He asked. Did you forgive them? My mind flashed to my old lieutenant. But the real story tore its way out. Lila. Addiction. The hotel. Sobbing. Right there in his office. 16 years of scar tissue ripped away. The pain felt raw anew. Had I forgiven her? No, not completely. The love, buried deep, was still there. That seemed to satisfy him. But today, he pressed. If she walked in right now, could you forgive her? In your heart? Start over. I didn't know. Couldn't lie. Said all the right words. Should be able to. Want to. But facing the actual decision. The pain still held me captive. Honest answer, he said. That's good. Let's talk about the staff. He tested me. Tiny, the ex-con biker? Could I work with him? No problem. Addicts seeking help? Could I handle that? Absolutely. Told him about my AA/NA work. Last test. Our secretary, he said. Wonderful woman. 10 years here. Indispensable. But in the past, serious addict. Traded sex for drugs. Convicted felon. Stole from everyone. Blackmailed. Did terrible things she deeply regrets. Cleaned herself up in prison. Example now. I trust her completely. Can you? Can you forgive her past? Judge her only by today? I thought. The faces from the meetings. The sheer fight of recovery. Respect. Yes, I said. I think so. Addicts do terrible things, hurt people. But coming back? That takes guts. I can respect that. Judge her by now. Good, he said. Let me introduce you. Assuming you take the job. I knew. Before he called her in. Lila. Avalon. We stood there. Couldn't look at each other. Stared at the rug. Then slowly names. Reached out. Ended up hugging. Tears. 16 years of distance collapsed. Looks like you two know each other, Pastor Silas said. A quiet knowing in his voice. Got some catching up to do. Interview over. We went to the diner. Talked for hours. She told her side. Clean when we met, mostly. But the friends, the environment, the pressure. Pulled her back down. Started using again. Just to cope. Didn't cope. Spiral. Lost the job. Needed money. Mitch found her. Saw how blind I was. Blackmailed her. Sex to keep me from finding out. Then pushed her to the pimp. Doing tricks for drug money. Mitch took a cut. He was deep in it by then too, his head gone. My card, my cash, the hotel, the spree. She was gone by then. Lost in the addiction, doing terrible things with him. She didn't know why she'd done it. I'd given her everything. But the drug? It was in control. Doing terrible things with terrible people. The stress of hiding it from me, the guy she loved, was breaking her. She loved me enough, she said, to keep putting off the wedding. Knew she'd hurt me eventually, being an addict. Just never thought I'd find her like that. With him. That was the lowest point. She knew she should have come to me for help. But she was terrified. Loved me too much to risk losing me. She was right. In that jail cell, facing the truth then, I wouldn't have taken her back. Said awful things. That rejection would have killed any chance of recovery. She'd be on the streets now, swallowed whole by the addiction. Instead, prison was the shock. Rehab. Got out. Found work helping others. Found the church later. Made it her anchor. Clean. Strong. Didn't have to be a nudist, didn't care about that. But it felt like a place that accepted broken things. Looking at her now. Seeing the woman who fought her way back. Yeah, she looked good. The thought of seeing her on the beach. It wasn't about the past. It was about the woman standing in front of me. Left the diner. Friends. For the first time in 16 years, the wound in my chest felt closed. Wrapped up. Ready to heal. Tuesday morning. Back at my desk. Job offer in my mailbox. Take it? I want to. Feel it in my bones. 99% sure this is where I'm supposed to be. But that 1%, it's not about her past. It's about her present. About us. Knowing the love is still there. Knowing it's still there for her too. We've been living parallel lives. Single. Waiting. Maybe it was always meant to come back to this. But I have to be certain. Absolutely certain. Walk through that door. To the church office. See her every day. The hugs. The lunches, the dinners. Holding hands. Kissing. Breakfast together. Marriage. Neither of us does things halfway anymore. I need to wake up every morning and see the woman I can build a life with. Not the shadow of the past. Not the hotel room. Can I do that? Can I make that final jump? Not today. Probably not tomorrow. Not in the next 3 weeks in this uniform. But soon. After the ceremony. When the uniform comes off for good. That last 1%. It will make the choice. And I think I can live with it. Whatever comes next. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories like this. See you next time.